Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of Choir Leader in a Kayak. But I'm not in a kayak, I'm on the blustery coast in Norfolk and I'm absolutely loving my time here. I'm sitting on a very windy beach with the sand dunes behind me, and I've got my picnic with me and my coffee. It's 11's, but I suspect by the time I upload this it will probably be dinner time this evening, because I intend to spend all day here on this gorgeously sunny, windy, wild beach and have a jolly good swim. This week's episode is all about change, and wind and weather always make me think about changes and how we manage them and how we cope with changes that sometimes are way beyond our control, like the weather. And this week, of course, those of us who are keeping up to date with the world of choral singing, we will have been very pleased to have seen the research paper that was so precisely taken by Declan Costello and his team around whether or not indeed singing was deemed to be any more dangerous an activity than loud speaking. And the findings are that indeed singing should not be considered any more dangerous. However, that doesn't mean that choirs can instantly return to the way that they were. There is, as we all know, a new normal in everything we are now doing. It's all about change and learning to try to adapt to those changes. And going forwards, I'm really hopeful that venues will be able to accommodate choirs, but it's all going to be about the size of the venue and their own guidelines that they have to be governed by. And of course, ventilation is going to be very important going forwards. I'm well and truly ventilated today. It's so windy, but it's lovely. And it's a bit like that saying, isn't it? There's no such thing as bad weather, there's just bad clothing. So I've put my hat on because I was a little bit blown around walking here, but actually I'm now a bit too hot, so I'm going to take it off because it is very warm, even though it's remarkably windy. So it's almost September. It's a natural time of change. It's normally the time when schools would return and people resume their hobbies, and indeed I will resume a lot of my academic studies or my hobbies in any way that I can, and a lot of these will be determined by what's available to us and to us all, in the hope that slowly life returns to the life that we had before lockdown. But I think we all agree that there are certain elements of life before lockdown that we don't miss and that we wouldn't want to see return. So I'm going to leave you with that thought. I'm looking straight ahead of me at a wind farm that's out in the ocean and thinking about this idea that change is a fantastic opportunity and a fantastic time to really think about what new direction and what new energy we want to take forward when change is forced upon us. The last thing I'm going to tell you is a funny little story. We used to own a cat amongst many of the other pets that we had, and on very windy days she used to act really strangely. She used to kind of do this leap with all her paws outstretched like she was a super cat or something like that. And I think that's how wild and windy weather makes me feel. It's quite exciting. You feel that there's certain risk attached to going outside, and it feels like it's bringing new life, new energy. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Wish me luck for my swim this afternoon, because yesterday I ended up coming out of the sea with all sorts of scratches and bruises and cuts because there's some very sharp rocks, but I will be safe. Have a lovely week. I look forward to bringing you new ideas around how choir will continue going forwards, and thanks again for all your patience over the spring and the summer as we've all got used to choirs on Zoom and making music in ways that we perhaps wouldn't have chosen but have allowed us to still make music together. Lots of love. Oh, so bright. Bye.